G'day, good morning. Look at this dot here on the screen. So we're going to dive into Bitcoin today. But look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it. Everyone you love. Everyone you know. Everyone you've ever heard of. Every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lives there on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. Those words are from the great Carl Sagan. I want to thank him for being so articulate and explaining where we are in space. We are this tiny dot here, suspended in a sunbeam. It's absolutely beautiful. So what's this got to do with Bitcoin? Let's just dive into the energy use of Bitcoin very quickly. These figures are from May the 5th, 2021, so they're a little outdated. I apologize. It's the quickest thing that Google threw at me this morning. Now we can see this is a chart of the electricity use around the world. China, 6,453 terawatt hashes. This is terawatt hours, I believe. The USA on 3,990, Germany 524, all the world's data centers 205, and then following in fourth place, Bitcoin at 143. Bitcoin is using more energy than Norway, Bangladesh, Switzerland, Google, and Facebook. And if we add up all those combined, that's astronomical. So what is this Bitcoin? This digital idea that uses so much energy. Is Bitcoin now, ladies and gentlemen, more than just an idea? Because of the amount of energy that's gone into creating something that's so pure, that follows truth, that's decentralized, that's out there in the world for everyone to be able to partake in. Now it has weight. It has electrical weight behind it. If we were to measure and weigh all that energy that's gone into it, before we discuss whether that energy use is good or bad, a lot of energy has gone into Bitcoin mining. It's number 4 in energy consumption around the world. Its numbers aren't quite true. They're a little bit selective, so it's not actually the number 4th. But for the picture, it makes sense. It's pretty phenomenal. Christmas lights use more energy than Bitcoin. But in regards to Bitcoin, it's got a lot of energy behind it. Hold that thought because energy has weight. Now, I've been thinking about energy lately because Michael Dunnworth, the brother of Peter Dunnworth, a friend of the channel here, talks about energy, goes down deep into the rabbit hole of energy. Bitcoin is time-traveling energy. And this gets very crazy very quickly. This gentleman, Michael Dunnworth, sends Bitcoin to the future. We've got an article here. We've gone over it on the show before. I want to just read a couple of things first. I'll give you the private keys to the Bitcoin, the password, if you'd like them. And then I want to explore this energy use that Bitcoin is doing because it's our last chance at total freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, my opinion, and it's my opinion today as I wake up this morning, and I'll show you what time it is, where we are in space and time. Block height 806,238 is 5:57 a.m. on September the 5th, local time 2023. This is where we are right now. We'll come back to this chart. but I want to get into what Michael had to say. My thoughts are Bitcoin is freedom, and there is a war of good and evil, light and dark, good and bad, whatever it is. Energy is life. We are all energy, ladies and gentlemen. There is no distinction between, or there is no separation, between you and I, and all things. There may be space, but there is no separation. When we break it down as small as we can, we are just energy, electrical impulses, and we are made from the stars. That's fact, that's science. It seems surreal, but that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen, when you break it down. We, as a human, as species, if we come back, and I'll bring it back up, the pale blue dot, our whole world, we live here on that dot suspended in a sunbeam. That's us. And why do I say these things? What's the point of going through some psychobabble in a way? Because that's what we're doing here, in a way. We're trying to discover the nature of our own lives. And I think through Bitcoin, that provides a solid foundation to be able to base or step off with your journey into space and time. Because it's just TikTok, next block. And we're going to talk about the time chain, the truth chain. But before I do that, as I said, I'll give you these private keys from Michael. What Michael's saying is right now, Bitcoin is the most direct representation of proof of work that humanity has ever been capable of experiencing. We know it's truth. It's the most decentralized form of truth that ever was. And so is that a good use of energy? Because it's a lot of energy. Well, we're still here to explore that, ladies and gentlemen. This article here, Bitcoin Magazine, Culture, Bitcoin is Time-Traveling Energy. You need to read the whole article. Absolutely fascinating. I will be interviewing Michael this Friday. So if you have any questions for this gentleman, put them in the comments below. And I will ask him, or hit me up on Twitter at SeanClark911. I'll give you the private keys. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you the private keys first, so I can deliver on that. Private key, the string. You can see for yourself, you don't need to take his word for it. Essentially, the key is access to an astronomical amount of energy in the future. That's the password to the Bitcoin that he has sent into the future, but you're not going to be able to access it for 100 and something years. There are a couple of things I want to point out, and then we'll dive deep down. Our wormhole. This is our wormhole. Pretty neat, right? Well, we're not sending a spaceship through it, obviously, but theoretically, we are sending something through it. What is that something? Well, it'll be a private key, because if we know that something will exist at a point in the future, then we know it must exist the duration between now and that point in the future. Mathematically, we're trying to come out the other side to a world where it is many years into the future when this block would occur, looking a lot like a wormhole within a higher energy field. Basically, it's a torus. Very interesting thoughts there. And what Michael is doing, essentially, is with a Bitcoin, it holds a huge amount of electricity. And the Bitcoin that are minted today, maybe in a way are worth more than the Bitcoin that was minted. Maybe not. Let me explore this thought for a second today, though. The Bitcoin that are mined today, the hash rate on the Bitcoin network is higher than it has ever been, roughly, give or take the last couple of weeks. But it's at peak height, which means peak energy usage. It is sucking up a huge amount of energy to push out 900 Bitcoin each day. It's pretty exciting stuff. It used a whole lot less energy 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 13 years ago to bring those Bitcoin into existence. So what weighs more? The Bitcoin that came out today or the Bitcoin from 10 years ago, 13 years ago? Originally, as I just started to have this thought, I thought the Bitcoin from today weighs more would be worth more. But in fact, the Bitcoin that was mined 8 years ago, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, has all the hashes from then until now backing it up as well. So this Bitcoin is so energy dense, so heavy. Imagine if we get those Bitcoin, we time lock them, we put them in a capsule, and then we send them out into space. We send them into the future. We are on the final frontier, ladies and gentlemen. We have explored the whole world, planet Earth. Apart, I'm sure there's a couple of small areas above the surface of the water that we haven't seen, but very few. And we haven't mapped all of the ocean floor, but we're getting pretty close. We are getting very, very close to be doing that. Maybe it takes another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 years to do that. We will get to a point very soon in the future, in universal terms, where everything there is to know about the planet, externally, we have discovered. Internally, I think that journey, that self-realization is going to go on indefinite, forever. As long as humans exist, we'll always be in a place of self-realization, going deeper down the rabbit hole. As that happens, and we have explored the whole world, we are going to move into space, and it's already happening. Voyager 1, Voyager 2, all the robots, all the spaceship, all the men and all the women that have gone into space, people right now that are floating around this Earth and the International Space Station, they are on the next frontier, is space. Now picture this with Bitcoin. We've never had a time in the whole world's history where we've had a medium of exchange, a store of account, where we can take our whole financial system and we can send it into space and time. It can exist here and it can exist on the moon. It can exist here and it can exist on Mars. And the bearer asset. This is part of how Bitcoin is the greatest invention that has ever been. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine that you wanted to take all your gold to the moon. Okay, you could do that. And maybe the captain could do that. And a couple of other people can squirrel away their gold in the spaceship as we go to the moon. But only so many people can do that. Otherwise, the spaceship's going to be too heavy to be able to take off. With all the food, with all the water, with all the supplies, with all the people on there, with all the fuel to be able to get us, it's simply not going to take off. But with Bitcoin, we can go anywhere in the universe and we can take it with us and we can use. Bitcoin is not confined to this planet Earth, which is absolutely remarkable. I think it's Bitcoin has come to the realization, or I've come to the realization where Bitcoin is the universe's money. That's pretty exciting. So is the energy use that goes into Bitcoin, is it worth it? If we bring up this bias chart here, Bitcoin, sorry, number 5 on the list, not number 4. The 5th largest user of the world's energy, is it worth it? For a fair, verifiable unit of account that we can use anywhere and we can exchange between anyone here or anywhere in the universe, is it worth that much energy? I believe so, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rabbit hole that I'll continue to explore. I just wanted to wake up on this beautiful day and dive a little bit down that energy rabbit hole, because why not? Life gets so busy and it gets so serious. And I get caught up with everything that I need to do. But Bitcoin is the most fascinating thing. It's the only thing that I've found through my whole life that keeps my attention every single day. that I'm willing to research, to dive into, to ponder, to think about, to write about, to speak about, to show up and represent. It's given me purpose in my life. Why? Because when you see complete truth, it resonates, it stands out, it makes sense. There is a war between good and evil, like I said. This is my belief, it doesn't need to be yours. But say theoretically, that is true. There is a war between good and evil. I want to be on the side of good. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it a peaceful revolution? Absolutely. It's super simple. All you need to do is opt out and stack sats. Anyway, that's not financial advice. I want to get into the numbers. Thank you very much for allowing me to explore that psychobabble with you this morning. Bitcoin price is $25,877. It is a red day, which means it's a buy day, ladies and gentlemen. Not financial advice. This is my biased opinion. Pretty much sideways, ladies and gentlemen. If we zoom out, it came up. It went sideways, came up, went sideways, went down, went sideways. It's sort of the same thing over and over again, ladies and gentlemen. When it's red, for me, I make it simple, I buy. That's as complicated as I make it. 25,900. We're going to look back, even when it's only $30,000. When Bitcoin is 30,000, will it be? It's not 100% definite, but it is me. I've got 99.999% conviction. What's that based on? Maybe it's hopium. Maybe it's based on human perception, looking at the charts for the last 4 years, 4.5 years, to be able to see that. The number does go up, down, and sideways, and it does all three nearly every single day. Sometimes it just goes up, sometimes it just goes down, but most of the time it is up, down, sideways, especially where we are in this part of the market. For Bitcoin to be under 30,000, 32,000, even 44,000 at the moment, all of these are good buying opportunities, risk to reward. And depending on how long you're willing to wait to be able to store this energy. If you can wait 10 years, it doesn't really matter how much, at what price you buy Bitcoin. You just need to hold on to it, accumulate as much as possible, and store that energy in your pocket for a later day. Because Bitcoin, sometimes in the West, it's an investment. Other parts of the world, it's a necessity. They already get it. It's more than just making quick gains in fiat terms. It's a whole lot more than that. Now, in Bitcoinnews, because that's what you come here for on the weekdays, I will be having the interview drop with Daz Beer tomorrow. That video is absolutely insane. What an amazing interview. I gave the book away actually to the guy that's installing the smoke alarms. Him and his brother are electricians. They came over and he's like quoting and stuff. And then we just spent an hour talking about Bitcoin. Of course, like everyone I speak to, I talk about Bitcoin because it is the most fascinating thing that has ever existed. But I gave, not the guy that did the aircon, but his brother, the book. He's like, what? My other brother, you know, the first brother that came that put in the aircon. So the first one was the aircon guy, and the second guy is the smoke alarm guy. They're both brothers. Talk to them both about Bitcoin. The brother first, about a month ago before he put the aircon in. And he's been doing the research, I found out, because I gave the brother a book. He's like, my brother has been talking about this. He's so excited. And I said, has he bought any yet? He said, not yet. I said, read this book, do your own research, study Bitcoin, and then whatever you do is up to you. He seemed pretty excited for it. He gets it because they work with electricity every day. This video that comes out tomorrow with Daz Beer, he's an electrical engineer, and they get it. And you are seeing engineers, even Greg Foss that I talked to, engineering background, they get it because it makes sense. It's in line with the laws of the universe. Anyway, more psychobabble. In regards to the news, expect that video. It's really good with Daz, and his book Beers for Bitcoin is great. LookingGlassEducation.com. A shout out to them. Free Bitcoin education information if you want it, get it there. I don't believe it's in the link below, but I should put it there. Amazing, absolutely amazing what they're doing. Anyway, Singapore got a new president, former central bank chairman, has called crypto slightly crazy. You know, that's the clickbait type of thing. So I went down through it, and he reiterated that stance in 2023 at the World Economic Forum, that crypto is inherently purely speculative and, in fact, slightly crazy. While it should remain an unregulated market, he suggested authorities should provide ultra clarity on the risks associated with crypto, because to start getting into a game of regulating products, ostrich eggs or crypto or anything else would be a never-ending game. So he's smart. Singapore is one of the crypto hubs in the world, and it looks like it may ramp up that even more. Now, if we get over to Australia, I don't need to read it. Australian Senate Committee rejects crypto bill from opposition Senator Andrew Bragg. I need to sort of go through a little bit more as well. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese introduced a token mapping consultation paper through the Treasury in February, which was supposed to lead to a separate consultation paper proposing a licensing and custody framework for crypto asset service providers mid-2023. At the end of the day, the banks are going to hold your Bitcoin. They're going to want to store your Bitcoin. So maybe now's a good time to be able to stack corn. Either KYC free or off exchanges, not financial advice, just an idea out there for you, ladies and gentlemen. That is happening. And then they go on to say, I can bring it up if you're interested to see the words as I read them verbatim off the screen. The central bank started a pilot test to explore potential use case for Australia's own CBDC, and last month concluded any decision on a CBDC in Australia is likely to be some years away. Not guaranteed to be years away, is likely. They've caveated it because that allows them an opening to be able to bring it out whenever. Yeah, we said it wasn't likely, but hey, things change, so we're doing it anyway. The sunrise is happening now, and that's the energy that we need to get into our eyes to be able to kickstart our circadian rhythm, to be in line with light, to be enlightened. We are human. Q, meaning light, men, Q, man. When we talk about energy, it doesn't just go into the energy that we create and that we use for the Bitcoin miners. The energy of the Bitcoin network, or everything that exists around us, has come out of nature. Everything from nature has come from the solar system. It's been a gift. Showered down in meteors, asteroids, the Big Bang, that explosion, everything here, whatever it is, an iPhone, it came from the stars, it came from space. We came from the stars, we're made from stardust. We use all that energy, we put it into things, we make Bitcoin miners, then we use all that electricity, that energy to mine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin become very heavy, very energy dense, and now we can send those out into space. And we can start to time travel with Bitcoin, to send Bitcoin into the future, to go down those wormholes. That's absolutely fascinating. I'm going to continue to explore this. I know this video is probably not going to make much sense. That's cool. I can have a video that talks absolute nonsense now and then. Anyway, if you got value, I literally am going to go see the sunrise. I suggest you go do the same. Get as much vitamin D as possible. You do you, I'll do me. Hopefully you found some fun. If you're a lurker, you've stayed this far, say hello, say g'day. I'll say hi to every single one of you. Have a very beautiful day. Enjoy that video with Daz Beer tomorrow. It's absolutely dope. And this video that I have with Michael coming up, Dunnworth, Google him, listen to him. But if you have any questions for this man, I'm still trying to work out if he's a genius or insane. But if you have any, drop them below. Be blessed. Peace.